Monday, September 2nd, 2019, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Markets will be quieter today, even though stock market had a rough opening overnight in the futures market. It is Labor Day, so there won't be any public markets like a New York Stock Exchange trading. Banks will be closed in the U.S. There's no treasury trading in the US either, or overseas, but the futures continue to trade. They will trade different hours, of course, shorter hours. And Europe is open. There's no Labor Day in Europe, but usually it is quieter when the US is out. The whole world slows down a little bit. Today, after I look at where the markets are this morning, I want to talk about the concept of order out of chaos. Having looked back at history, at periods like post-World War I, for example, where there was chaos in Europe, especially in Germany, after the abdication of the royal imperial family. You had the Weimar Republic, which was young, the hyperinflation. It feels to me that what we're seeing everywhere around the world is chaotic. Look at Hong Kong now, that's come to the fore. Look at France with the Gilets jaunes. Look at the US, the division we have. Look at the US trade war with China. Look at Trump, and the left-right division is huge in the US. In the UK, with Brexit, it's getting even worse. The division between the Brexiteers and the Remainers. Europe, the chaos is in the economy even more pronounced. We've got these negative interest rates. It's crazy in my opinion, and that's what I want to talk about. Before that, let's look at where the markets are. So it's 7:48 a.m. London. We've got spot gold at 1522.50, is up about $2. It did open quite strongly overnight. It was above 1530. It got up to 1534.50. Silver as well was strong. It got up to 1859, right near the recent high, but right now it's down 4 cents at 1832. So precious metals still consolidating. Stock market. While the Dow opened over 200 points lower, there's talk about the tariffs that were imposed from the beginning of September by the US and China. These are not new tariffs. It's just that the deadline came and they were imposed. Maybe the market had hoped that something would be done in the last minute, and it wasn't. And that's why the stock markets are weaker. We have rebounded though. The Dow is down 111 right now, 0.4%, the Dow futures. S&P 500 is down 11 or 0.4 as well of a percent. And the NASDAQ 100 future is down 50 or 2/3%. Yesterday in my live stream, I talked about the stock market and how this everything bubble that we have, in my opinion, is the biggest financial bubble, I guess, in recorded history. And the fact that it's like a super tanker, so it's been driven, it's such a huge bubble, so much credit that for it to turn and unwind or burst the bubble, it will take longer. And that's what I think we're seeing technically. For example, you look at the S&P weekly chart here. I think this is a massive top, and it started in the beginning of 2018. And yes, in my opinion, we're forming a head and shoulder here now, it looks like. We're forming the right hand shoulder right now, as you can see. So unless we break back above the all-time high around 3,030 or thereabouts, the markets are still in rocky waters, I would say, the stock markets. So what I meant by that super tanker analogy is that it takes longer for things to correct, because it's been it's been such a huge injection of credit, money and credit by the central bankers, and they're still trying to keep it going. I personally think they will fail. You can't. There is a consequence to creating things that are not real. You can't you can't keep doing it forever, or else the whole world would be a very rich place, and that's not the case. To the currencies, still fairly quiet here. Sterling is unchanged, 121.65. We could see volatility this week. Parliament in the UK reconvenes tomorrow, September 3rd. They won't have much time because Boris Johnson has prorogued the suspended parliament, I think, from the 13th. So they'll have a few working days left to try to iron out things. Still chaotic, as I said, this Brexit situation. Euro 109.83, unchanged. Dollar is down slightly against the yen, 106.17. Dollar up 0.1% against the yuan at 7.17. WTI crude trading at 55, unchanged. Brent also unchanged at 59.05. Bond markets are not trading, so I won't report treasury yields this morning. So to the order out of chaos. So that's an old strategy that's been around for thousands of years, that rulers create chaos to convince the public to do things they would normally do. It's a very old strategy, and I think personally, from what I'm seeing right now everywhere in the world, this is what we're getting. And why do they do that, the powers that be? Well, because they want to take the attention away from their failures. So they want to divide people as well, order out of chaos, divide and conquer, divide the public, while the public should actually be together and trying to unify and actually point the spotlight at what's really wrong with the system. And in my opinion, my humble opinion, what's wrong with the system is the monetary system. And why do I always focus so much on the monetary system? Well, because I think it's very important. Not because I think money is the end all, not at all. But in a modern economy that we've had for the last 150, 200 years, and by that I mean an economy where you have specialization, where people do different things. You need exchanging products and services is paramount, and the only way you can do that is through sound money. Because every commercial transaction nowadays, half of that transaction is always money, right? So it's really important. The people who control the money are pretty much in charge of everything. And that's why I think money should revert back to the free market, and it should be the public that chooses what money is, and it should be the free market that determines the value of money relative to other goods, which is prices, right? And not the powers that be. And with the collapse of '08, I think more and more people are becoming aware, or were becoming aware of this. And I think the powers that be are scared they're losing control of the money. They're losing control of the agenda to keep people enslaved with their money system, their fiat money system created out of thin air. Because money has to have some kind of value to the market. Right now, the money we have, the only value it has is that the legal tender laws that they pass, and the force that they have to impose that through taxation, through legal tender laws, as I said. And yeah, and that's why I focus so much on the central banks and the monetary system, because I think that's where the whole problem lies. All the things they've done to keep the system from imploding in '08, and that has been keeping the asset bubble high, bond prices high, mortgage bonds high. It's all to keep their debt-based system going, because if they let that correct, the whole system implodes. So what do they do in this case? Well, they create all these problems. They create Brexit, they create Trump. Yes, they do create Trump. And they create Hong Kong, the problems there. They create the Gilets jaunes. While at the same time, people will not put the spotlight on the central banks. Maybe President Trump is doing so, but I'm not sure, because he's actually calling for the central bank to do more of the same, which is create money and credit and cut interest rates. So I'm not too sure about that. Maybe he's pushing them to do something that he knows will eventually expose them for what they are. So that's what I'm seeing right now. What are we to do about that? I think we need to remain calm, not buy into this chaos, the fear that's coming out of this, and just keep living your lives. Don't let it paralyze you. All this Brexit, Remainer. Yeah, observe from afar, but keep doing what you need to do to look after yourself and your family. That's what I try to do. Yeah, just keep stacking as well. Precious metals. That will help you financially. Of course, there are other things that I don't cover here that other channels cover, other aspects of life. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. You can also follow me on Twitter, Steemit, and on DTube. I wish you all a great week, and I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.